Everyone. So let's start. First of all, how can we learn IELTS in only 1 hour? Yes, 1 hour. Now, in order to learn IELTS in 1 hour, you need to understand what is the criteria of IELTS. So the criteria of IELTS is very simple. It all depends on the task response. So when I say task response, what does it mean? It means that the task, whether it is writing, reading, listening, or speaking, you need to come up to the criteria mentioned in the British Council IELTS category for reading, writing, listening, and speaking. That what is the candidate expected to do? Now, today our focus is on writing. In IELTS writing, you are given a total of 1 hour, and you have to perform two tasks. Those two tasks are subdivided into IELTS Academic Writing and IELTS General Writing. So, what's the difference? The difference between IELTS Academic Writing and IELTS General Writing is that the task one in both is different. For example, in IELTS General Writing, the task one is a formal letter or an informal letter, and while in task one of writing, academic writing, there are plenty of things. For example, it can be a graph or it can be a pie chart, it can be anything. So, in my 20 years of experience, well, when I was teaching IELTS to different students online and on campus in different cities, and they have had excellent results because I make them understand what is a task response. So, today if you watch the video till the end, you will understand it. Now, so let's first of all discuss IELTS writing task 1 academic. So, in task 1, there is a bar chart or a bar graph. There are plenty of question types, and when there will be a complete video which is also free. You don't have to go to any academy, you don't have to spend anything. You just watch these videos and you will learn easily. So in task 1 academic, what you need to do, you need to write on a graph. You are supposedly writing like a minimum of 150 words. Okay, so it is very technical writing. You need to have functional style in writing it. Okay, so let me show you an example. So let's start. So you can see i'm I have picked a line graph. Okay, so the question is, the graph below represents the employment patterns in the USA between 1930 and 2010. Summarize the information by selecting and report in the main features and make comparisons where relevant. You should at least write 150 words. So now we can clearly see that there are few things in this graph which you need to understand. First of all, whenever there is a graph like this, you have to read what is on the x-axis, which is in this case the years, and what is on the y-axis, which is the percentage. Okay, so percentage and years. Moving on, we can also see that there are different colors, different colors, these lines which are showing different colors. The blue one is for the industrial, the green one is for the sales and office, and then we have the framing, fishing and foresting, technical, red one, and other services. So for example, let's take the first one. Okay, and here we can see that in 1930 almost 75% of the labor force in the USA was employed in farming. We can conclude from the graph that in 1930 75% of the labor force was employed in farming and fishing. Okay, and foresting, while only 10% worked in sales. So 10% in sales and 75% in farming and fishing. So how can we see that from the graph? Okay, so if you pay closer attention, you will see that this is farming, fishing and foresting, and it goes almost touching to 80%. So we never say that it is actually 80%, we will only say that it is 75% because it's nearby. So one word normally we write in, when we are writing these graphs, we always write approximately or almost. So in 1930, 75% of the labor force in the USA was employed in farming, fishing and foresting, while only 10% we can see worked in the sales. So this way, this way you gonna, you are going to one by one write these results. So first of all, what you need to write is the high value and the low value. So what are the highs and the lows, and then you need to put a comparison between the two. But how will I start? So there are two ways. You can either start by this or you can use this. The graph below presents the employment patterns in the USA between 1930 and 2010. So instead of writing as it is, we can use some synonyms. So we can say the graph, instead of using the word below represents, we can say the graph depicts, depicts. It also means presents, or the graph represents, or the graph shows that. And after that, it, the sentence can continue different employment patterns. So you can say different employment styles or different employment percentages in the USA between the years 1930 and 2010. That should be your first line when you are writing. This should be sure your first line. So moving on, so moving on, this should be your first line always. So first, whenever you are writing in academic writing task 1, you copy the topic. The topic here is, this is the topic here, that the graph below presents the employment patterns in the USA between 1930 and 2010. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna rewrite this, and this is how you start. Remember, we only have to write 150 words minimum. So the first line is like this, and then secondly, you will simply start putting up the different values. What are the different values? How much is used for, how much is how many percent, what is the percentage of different categories. You're gonna just write that. Okay, so it says that 75% of the labor force in the USA was employed in farming, fishing. So this is the first thing. Moving on, 10% was in the sales. Okay, we can also see that the technical sector, it gives only 2%. Okay, so 2% employment goes to the technical field, technical sector. But as the years go by, and we can see that in 1980 there has been a significant change in the patterns of employment. How? Now the farming and fishing, which was the top, it declines, the value declines. So it declines up to 40%. So what is the main thing? The main thing is you are just writing what the graph shows, and it's a mathematical representation of all the information that is given in the graph. And other than line graph, there is like bar graph, there is double bar graph, there is pie chart. So we are going to, in the coming videos, one by one study each one of them, but the main thing remains the same, that it is like solving a mathematical equation, like solving something like when you do algebra or something like that. So you are to the point, you are not putting any idea, you are just writing as you are understanding, to the point. So this is very important, that you need to write to the point. You are going to write the patterns, and you are going to write the different trends. So now it will go like this. Okay, and then you you take one, what is the different changes in different years, the high value, the low value. So if I like try to summarize it, so first, while you start your answer, you will copy the topic and rewrite. So the first is the topic description, 1 to 2 lines. Then understanding of the graph and writing the graph one by one, different trends, year wise, basically explaining x-axis and y-axis. And then comes the third thing, which can come at the end, which is like, what is the trend you find here? Trend. So the trend is like which value stays the same and which values manages its uh, value over the years, and which declines and which progresses. Okay, so we can clearly see that from 1930 this line, okay, it goes down. Some lines are, bypassing it, the others, some are maintaining and some are gaining. So what is the high and what is the low, you gotta always talk about that. Now, other than that, one most important thing in IELTS writing task 1, okay, is your vocabulary. It is not the usual vocabulary you use, it is always technical. So when I say technical, I will give you few words. For example, uh, boost, dramatic rise, dramatic decline. So there are plenty of words which I will add as we go on, and I will either I will add a document or something like that, or I will write them here, or I will show a picture of them, so you can take a screenshot. So those words are technical words. Okay, so they are representing what sort of language you are using. And the conclusion could be like the sales and office sectors did not increase until 1980. This is one important trend, and the most dramatic change could be seen by 2000. So I can understand that this is too short. You cannot have the clear view, but if you like, for example, here we can see that by 2000 there are rises in different values. Okay, and you have to note that. So this is how you gonna end it. No special thing. And this way you can write a line graph. The words I will add in the next video, but the main thing is that it is your task response that counts. You cannot miss anything, but you cannot add too many things. Okay, you're gonna mention the highs and the lows, what which value is maintaining itself, balancing which value is increasing, which is decreasing. And because it is 150, 160 words, you should not bypass or pass them, because in the task 2, you know, you have to write almost 250 words, and that is an essay which is either argumentative or discursive. Once we are done with that, we're gonna pursue that. So that has a double marking, or double, uh, you can say that that's that value is double than this one, because here in task 1, you can spend like 20 minutes in task 1 out of the allotted 60 minutes, and almost 40 minutes for task 2. Okay, so this way you will see how to manage academic writing task 1. Most of the students don't take it seriously. They think that it's too easy. Yeah, it's not too easy, but it's kind of a technical thing. So first, if your vocabulary is fine, then you did follow the pattern I told you. Okay, and finally, if you saw the trend and notify or mention it, like which, and you also mention the highs and the lows and the values which are maintaining, so that is pretty much it. You are going to score well. So maybe I will add another video on the line graph, so that I can add some more points on it. Okay, so hopefully you understand. And when I say you can do IELTS in 1 hour, it simply means that you can learn all these things. Now you understand this, so this same tips will be applied on all different types of task 1 topics that will come. You can apply the same thing on the pie chart, you can apply the same thing on the double line graph or a table. You know, there are 6 to 7 different types of exam questions that come in writing task 1 for academic. So I hope you do understand. And this is just first video. I'm not used to the YouTube video thing, because most of my teachings and my lectures have been physical and on campus. And I do have a book, I will mention about that in the coming videos. So I hope I'll get better with this mode of teaching. But most important is that um, if you just follow these videos, you will simply understand how to do IELTS without any problem, and with much ease. So see you in the next video, and do subscribe. You have to subscribe, because this is what we need to do. Okay, so see you. Thank you.